Hey, Susanna. Hi, everybody. Hi, Breezy Bunch. I was going to wait till more people came in, but I figure, you know what? People are probably at work, busy. I know, Chachi, it's just me. Hi, everybody. And I figure, anyways, most people are going to watch this back on replay. So I've never done anything like this online. I don't know how this is going to go. I really didn't put that much thought into it because I wanted anything that I shared to be straight from the heart. I guess the rules for this stream. Let's say what this is first. I realize there's a lot of new people watching my channel. Hi, Susie. And I guess I wanted to kind of introduce myself and what I've been through. A lot of what I speak on, I have some sort of experience with, such as addiction. Hey, Tiggs, good to see you. So I thought I'd share a little bit of my story. If anybody wanted to come up and share theirs, maybe they can come on for 5 minutes. I'll set a timer because if a bunch of people want to come up, I want to be able to let everybody share. It's kind of like a meeting, but an unofficial meeting. There's no really, the only rules are don't judge, don't be rude to anybody speaking. I would love for people not to, leave whatever you hear, leave it here, if that makes sense. Hey, Jamie. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Beth. Good to see you. So I don't know how this is going to go. Like I said, but if you guys like this, if you want more live streams like this, we can definitely set that up. I hope you have a good day, Beth. So I've kind of had a hard life. I think people think that I've had this like wonderfully easy life and I sit on top of my throne and I'm just judging people constantly. I see that as the common perception, but no, I've just been through a lot, and therefore like I've heard all the excuses because like I wrote the book on excuses. So I just usually call things out as I see it. Hey, Mandy, good to see you. Hey, Sue. Hello. I guess, where do I start? If I look off to the side or anything, it's because if I look at the chat, I'll get super distracted. Tig said was bulimic since age 8. Long story short, I'm 55 with a feeding tube for the rest of my life. Wow, Tig, thank you for sharing that. Somebody in here needed to hear that right now. Somebody needed a wake-up call. And I believe you sharing that has helped somebody, so thank you. I'd love to hear your story one day. Where to start? I guess I'm just going to speak from my heart. Whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. I truly think the reason why I became so addicted so fast to so many different things was A, I was sheltered my whole life. And B, I've always searched for a way to belong, a way to feel normal. I've never felt meant for this world. My name's Jennifer, by the way, and I'm an alcoholic. I've never felt like I belonged here. I don't know how else to describe it. I never felt like anybody else. I never felt normal. I never felt that I had a place in this world, and I don't know why. And I remember feeling that from a very young age. Also, I remember feeling my whole life this feeling of rejection. Like for as long as I can remember being a little kid, I always felt unwanted, and that's due to like my bio dad and issues with that. Brief story, my parents got divorced before I was born, and I had a sperm donor, I won't even call him a dad, who I just always remember making promises to come see me. I never really understood what he was to me other than I was supposed to call him dad. But he would make promises every weekend to come see me and my sister, and we would be looking out the window waiting for him to show up, and he never would. Hey, Lori, thank you so much for the super chat. Hey, everyone, it's been a busy week for me. Hopefully you are all doing well listening in the background. I'm doing amazing. Thank you. I hope you're doing well as well. Thank you so much for the super chat, Lori. I got a super chat. Lori sent me a super chat. Woohoo. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hi, Dane Mom. Hello, Ninbom. Good to see you. I said your name completely wrong. Nina Bon. Well, I'm trying to say Cinnabon. So I guess feeling my whole life like I didn't really belong or like feeling rejected gave me like this instant connection to alcohol. I was bullied a lot in junior high. I was very awkward looking. I was too tall, too skinny then. And I got bullied a lot by like this group of girls called like, they named themselves like Pebbles and Coco and Bambi and Crazy Eye. And they had these nicknames. So I guess I'm sharing this story and all this to share of why I like deeply connected with alcohol and why when I first tried it, I had this like sense of belonging, sense that I finally felt normal. I had a really good childhood. Like I had amazing grandparents. I had an amazing, who I call dad now, but he came into my life when I was 2, married my mom at 4, so he's dad. They gave me everything in the world. I never like wanted for anything, but I just always felt they were very strict. And I always felt like I was in trouble for something. And I always felt like God was angry at me. And that's something that sticks with me. I mean, they were like very religious, born again Christians. And I just remember always being confused. Like, why would God be mad at what I listen to? Why does he care what kind of music I listen to? I just remember being very confused. High school, I feel like I kind of came in, well, I don't know if I came into my own. High school was very confusing, except for all the people that once bullied me, then wanted to be besties with me. There's that. So high school is just a confusing time. Like everybody who picked on me, bullied me, everything else, suddenly wanted to be my friends in high school. That was confusing. Oh, really, Mandy? Addiction was normalized in my family. Yeah, it was like you don't even talk about it. You know, it was just don't talk about it. And I always felt like if I asked questions, I was going to get in trouble. I don't know why. Oh, really, Tiggs? Our childhood sound alike? Yeah. It was a good childhood. I just remember being confused a lot. Like, I was always grounded. I'll tell you that much. I was one of those kids who was always grounded. Like, no, sorry, I can't come to your party. I'm grounded for a week. I was one of those people. My Nintendo was taken from me, like, all the time. So, yeah. Part of it, I think, was just a normal kid who talks back, and my parents were just really strict. The other part was the kid who just knew she was going to get in trouble anyway, so, like, F it. That's pretty much how I was. Hey, Joe. Oh, really, Spike? Yeah. I grew up in a very religious house. Like, MTV was blocked until I think I was, like, 16 to 18. I can't remember what age. It was somewhere between 16 to 18. I just remember, like, being really excited when I got to watch TRL and watch Carson Daly. I was so excited for that. So I was pretty good during high school, except for I was a brat. I don't think like I wasn't like a party girl or anything. Like I had sipped a wine cooler here and there, but like it was never really, I don't know, a big thing until I turned 21. For some reason, when I turned 21, I felt like this is my time to shine. And I remember going to get margaritas for my birthday night. That was fun. Then we went to a strip club. I got 21 lap dances. That was a lot of fun too. We went to like Hollywood. I went to a club. Like 21 was like, that birthday was so amazing. It was so much fun to me. I had so many friends show up for me. Oh, really, Blue Jays? You also have a sperm donor. Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. I guess thanks for giving us life. And that's about it, you know? Oh, really, Spike? Hi, Anna. So yeah, I just remember throughout my drinking career, even when things got really bad, I was always trying to chase that 21st birthday, like how much fun I had. And I never got that feeling back. After that day, I wanted more alcohol, more alcohol, more alcohol. And I became like this clubbing kind of a girl. And then I got heavily involved with like Coke, stuff like that. And because Coke goes hand in hand with drinking, that was a short thing though. Maybe I did it for like a year. I consider that short, but I had some experiences that absolutely like scared the shit out of me. So like I didn't really get back into it that much. I tried other things. I tried math. I tried many other drugs, but for some reason cola like just scared me. It's weird how that works. Alcohol didn't scare me. The amount of times it gave me seizures, strokes, everything didn't scare me. Coke scared me. I used to wish we had MTV growing up, but I was raised on a horse ranch. Oh, really? And the radio was the closest you got? Wow. That's cool, though. I wish I was raised on a horse ranch. Oh, really, Erin? Yeah, I feel like I don't know, in your addiction, how you're always trying to chase that one particular high, or maybe the first time you got high, or maybe the first time you drank, how you felt like your addiction, the whole time you're chasing that feeling again, and you never get it back, never. I would say by 24, I became a full-blown alcoholic. I was bad by 24, and I can figure the turning point in, like, I had gotten a DUI at 21, and it was like a slap on the wrist. I'm not proud of this, by the way, but I'm 40 now. I've changed my ways, but I want to be very transparent. Like, it was like a slap on the wrist, and I didn't learn my lesson. It was like, oh no, I went to jail for a few hours. It didn't scare me, and it should have, and I realized that's not normal, but drinking and partying was still like way too important for me to care about anyone else. I think by 23, I had gotten my second one, which was my last DUI, and it wasn't going to be a slap on the wrist this time. They wanted me to spend 40 days in jail, and I absolutely went insane for like the 6 months of waiting to be sentenced and everything. Like, I was drinking. I remember that being the turning point. Like, every time I got off work, I had a really good job, by the way, you guys. Like, I was working at a specialty vet. I worked with internal medicine, also oncology, and I also worked the emergency shift. I had a very good paying job. I was good at what I did. But by 23, I was drinking every time I got off work. I would pull up to the house, and I would stop at a liquor store, and I'd get these little wine bottles, and I'd pull up to the house. And before I even got in the house, I would drink 4 of them just so I can go inside and go right to sleep. And I remember that's when my drinking just got really bad. Then I needed it every single night, and I needed more every single night to fall asleep. We're always chasing the first high spike, always. Oh, really, Blue Jays? It was 19. I almost wonder if that would have been better for me if the drinking age was like, if I was somewhere where the drinking age was lower, so like I would have got sober faster. I don't know. I often wonder too, like, would things be differently if I started this in high school? Like, would it have all been out of my system? I don't know. I often wonder about those things, though. After that, I remember I had to lie to my work. I ended up getting sentenced to 4 days in jail, but I didn't spend that. I spent like a night. Or maybe it was 2 nights the most, but like most of my jail things, I was always out of jail by like night 2, the longest. But I had developed a pretty bad habit. So I remember I had to go serve my sentence. I had to call out for work. I said somebody died in my family, which is horrible. Don't ever do that, but I did that. And then, so I created this problem for myself, right? I was drinking heavily every night. Well, so it started off with 4 of those mini wine bottles a night, and eventually got up to 6 and 8. So I wasn't waking up the next morning sober anymore. So I started drinking before I went to work, and I would get a ride because I had a breathalyzer in my car at this point. By the way, don't get a DUI. You can kill somebody, and you can't take that shit back, and you will spend the rest of your life in jail, and you will take a loving family member away from somebody. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. On top of that, you will have a breathalyzer in your car, and you will be the freak of nature. Like, it's awful. It's embarrassing. It's expensive. I had that in my car. So oftentimes I couldn't even get the damn thing to start in the morning. So I would have to get a ride. It was bad. I was showing up to work drunk many times. Like, it was really bad. My drinking got bad. Eventually, surprise, surprise, I lost that job. And it felt like after that, I didn't really have mainly anything to be happy about or live for. This was before I had a child, obviously, because this was 24, going into 25. And I was just suddenly just drinking to fill the time. Drinking because I was bored. Drinking. And then I started getting arrested a lot. I no longer wanted to drink by myself alone. I wanted to be drinking with other people. I went on a drinking career with that, a whole journey with that. I would be out and drunk in public, drinking on the sides of 7-Elevens, in the back of liquor stores. Oftentimes, I've woken up in the gutter a few times. I started being sent to like rehabs, sober livings. but I was very into pills. My first rehab I went to was in San Pedro, and I did the whole rehab tour there. I've been in every single rehab in San Pedro. I've been in every single sober living in San Pedro. And that's probably the worst city to send somebody with an addiction to. I hate to say it, but like if you've ever been in San Pedro, it's more people who are not sober than sober. Like it's not a very I don't want to discourage anybody from being sent there, but I'm saying if you're already not serious about your sobriety, getting sent to that city, you will be introduced to brand new drugs, all sorts of new ways of using. I really feel like things took a really bad turn there. I wasn't serious about getting sober. My mom dropped me off at a rehab. I think by month 2, I was kicked out of it. And then I was in the city where the norm is everybody's drunk, high, and using, and you get high on the beach and you do. I got introduced to so many new drugs out there, you guys. It's, like I said, it's not really the best city if you're not serious about getting sober to be sent to. I would do things like get a job for a little bit. I had periods of sobriety, but then once I got a paycheck, when I was supposed to pay for like sober living to stay in another month, I'd end up paying it, but then get myself kicked out like the same night. Because I'd have extra money left over and I'd go drinking, drugging, whatever I wanted to find. Like if you want something in San Pedro, it's literally on every corner. It's such a, it's a dangerous place to be when you're not serious about getting clean or sober. Yeah, you have to blow with a breathalyzer. When you have one of those things, it's called like an interlock device. You have to blow it. And I think anything over, I think it even starts at 1%, but it ends up giving you a thing because it has like it reads everything and it sends it to the courts. But there's a few times I blew in it and it was like yellow. So I was a really bad alcoholic. There's no joking about that. Let's see. When I lived in San Pedro, I was in a sober living where, I don't know if you know of those sober livings where you're supposed to be sober, but like nobody is. It was that kind of a place. It was a beautiful house on 22nd Street. It overlooked like the entire ocean. It was absolutely beautiful. I fell off a balcony 40 feet off onto my head. The only reason I survived was because I was drunk. And I even tried to leave the hospital that night. I tried to sign an AMA against medical advice, and they told me if I left, I was going to die. I had a ruptured spleen. I always get this part confused. A bruised something and a ruptured spleen. Either it was a bruised spleen and a ruptured something, but this is how bad my injuries were. Like my arms are so big now, a little bit deformed because I really ruined them on that fall. They were black and blue, and like so the skin became weak. That's why it's like even if I work out my arms, it's like hard to lose weight in this area. I had a fractured neck. I bit through my tongue. Eventually, I think enough bad things happened in San Pedro. I started hanging out at places, we joked about Natter's house being like the crackdown. I was hanging out in real places like that. Motels where like you pay dirt cheap to be able to stay there and everybody's high and using. Everybody. I've seen really bad stuff in those places. And like one day, I guess if you guys want a more detailed story, I could share, but like I was one of those people. I hung out in those places. That was me for a while. Eventually, I think my family realized that San Pedro was not helping me at all. And I went back to sober living in, I don't want to say, but in a city. And there was a guy who owned a sober living and everybody like respected him and had like, because he had so much time clean. I know before I said like 50 years, but that was an exaggeration. It was actually like 30 years. And I know other channels have come out, oh, it has to be a lie. No, people don't always get sober as an adult. Like there's literally teenagers who go into AA and NA. So keep that in mind. But this person had 30 years sober and owned like 2 sober livings. And this is a big reason why I don't do AA and stuff like that. He was very well known, very well known. And at first I thought being in that sober living, like it was cool because he was paying attention to me. And like, if I didn't have cigarettes, he bought me cigarettes. One time he took me on a motorcycle ride and like, I thought it was cool. Like, I don't know why. I think my brain was so broken and I couldn't see the signs that this much older man shouldn't have been doing that. to somebody just trying to get sober, especially a woman, he shouldn't do that to anybody, but you know what I mean? Like, you hear about in the meetings how you need to be careful of these kinds of things. Well, one of the times he took me on a motorcycle ride, he did something to me and I had to go to court. It was a whole thing. Like, nobody believed me. All these people like showed up on his side of the courtroom, and I had like my mom sitting next to me. It was very traumatic. And nobody believed me. But then as soon as I dropped the case, because I was being so bullied about it, like, it was so horrible, like death threats and everything. All these women ended up coming out about him. He attacked a 16-year-old walking down the street, and he actually got a lot of time in jail for that. I think right now, from what I heard, he's on Skid Row. But and like before that, he attacked somebody at a clothing store. It was like a shopping store or whatever. So like, that kept me out for a long time. That kept me drinking, because I didn't trust anybody at that point. If somebody who's supposed to be helping you get sober can do that, like, it's all a sham, right? So it kept me out for a long time. I started having very bad things besides that happening to me. I had a stroke. I had seizures. One of the worst seizures I had put me in ICU for 2 weeks. Hey, one CD, it's okay. I'm sharing this for a reason. Like, be careful. Like, if you're new to the meetings, AA, like, if you're a woman, stick with the woman. If you're a male, going and stick with the men. There's a reason why they say that. There's a reason. And it's real. Like, while there's a lot of good people out there in AA, NA land, there's also people who aren't so good. And just keep that in mind, okay? Just be very careful. Hey, you guys, I'm sharing this because I know it's going to help somebody out there somewhere someday. The day I had a seizure and a stroke, I remember barely making it to 7-Eleven. I was withdrawing and I didn't have like a lot of money to keep going. A lot happened. And if I honestly share everything, you guys, like, we'll be here for 6 hours. And I want to give the opportunity to somebody come up if they want to, or if you guys have questions. I remember barely making it to 7-Eleven. Like, if you've ever been in withdrawal, you just kind of know when something really bad's going to happen. Like, you can feel almost the seizure coming on. It's a weird feeling. And I've had multiple seizures. So that's why, like, I don't know. This is the best way I can describe it. Like, you feel like it, you almost feel it come on, or like it's going to happen. And I got myself to 7-Eleven. I got my Bud Light margaritas, whatever those things are called. Like, I've never said their name right, but I call them Budlaritas, but whatever the hell those things are. I think I got a 211 too, and something else. I barely had enough money for these things. I think I was even short on change, but the guy was so used to me. It was like, okay, you're short 6 cents, whatever. I remember drinking a little bit, but I was trying to get home. And then my left foot, for some reason, I felt like I was seeing stars. The whole thing is kind of a blur, but I remember certain things that happened. So my left foot suddenly wouldn't work. It like flopped, you guys. It flopped. And every time I would try to stand up or walk, it would just flop again. I remember at some point I started crawling. I remember my left side, which is where my foot was dropping, my left side, like, it was just tingly, numb, and I couldn't really work it, but I kind of could. So I was having a stroke. I had a stroke. And I remember crawling, and I was crawling, and somehow, like, there was cars that stopped and looked at me, but like, I remember I was in front of a church, and one of the guys was like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "I guess I'm crawling." Like, I don't know. Somehow I made it back home. I must have sipped a little bit more to even be able to make it back home, to be honest with you. I got into the house. I remember laying down on the couch, and that's about it. I woke up, and there was a bunch of paramedics and people all around me. I was being rushed into an ambulance. I passed out then again until I got to the hospital. And do you know what I was asking my mom? It was so weird. My family was there. I was in severe withdrawals, you guys, like severe. But the part I missed is I woke up to ambulances because my dad had a feeling about me. He said he had a gut feeling and something told him to go by and check on me. Had he have not done that, I wouldn't be here right now. He told me when he found me, there was foam coming out of my mouth, vomit, I'd vomit on me and my lips were blue. I wasn't breathing. Like, I guess I had stopped breathing. So like, if he didn't check on me and didn't get an ambulance right away, like I wouldn't be here to tell the story. Anyway, so I guess in the hospital, having my DTs and withdrawals, I kept screaming that I wanted to get a t-shirt from Disneyland. I was telling everybody like I needed a Minnie Mouse t-shirt from Disneyland. I don't know, but I was in there for 2 weeks. At one meeting, we had to tell a woman, don't discuss her marriage problems, she would get hit on. Yeah, you learn not to do that. Like, and if you're in a good sober living, and it's a women's one, usually they'll tell you certain things not to share and do, because there are predators out there. There are. I hate to say that. And like, a lot of people don't understand why I don't do AA anymore. I think I just gave you a good enough reason why I don't do that. I'm not saying every meeting is bad. I'm not saying they're full of them. I'm just saying there's people out there, and really be careful. Be careful. So somehow I ended up back in San Pedro. Somehow I ended up back there. This is kind of, I'm going to tell my story about it's kind of all over the place. I'm sorry, I haven't shared for a while, but let's go into me having a baby and having to give over my rights. I'm going to touch over everything briefly because I am talking about a minor and some of it's part of her story. And though my daughter would be okay with me sharing this, I still want to protect certain things. I still don't want to put all of her business out there. That's just the mom in me. Nothing horrible happened to her. It's just, I don't know, like, it was a sad situation. I met my baby daddy while I was in San Pedro. He had like a million years sober at the time. Now he has 17. It seemed like a million years to me, at least. He really tried to help me, but I just couldn't be helped. When I was sober, things were really good. When I wasn't sober, obviously things were really bad. I think my drinking made him fed up in a lot of ways, and he could have been a lot nicer to me, and he probably could have helped a little bit more, but I think there's only so much a person can take. So I have a tiny little bit, not even a resentment. I have some kind of like, you could have, I don't know, we had a child together, like you could have been nicer, but I get it. Like I was very hard to deal with. I don't think he was perfect, though he was clean and sober. I think people still can have issues being clean and sober. Sometimes you're often dry and you don't realize it. So yeah, there's that. But we made a baby, and we made a beautiful baby. And we were really trying to play house there for a while, but I wasn't ready to settle down and be a wife or a mom. But I had lost a baby previously in addiction, and I didn't want to lose this baby, and I didn't want to deal with that again. So I did my best for as long as I could until I couldn't. I had a very traumatic pregnancy. I think I feel kind of gypped in the aspect, like you see some women who are like floating angels in their pregnancy and just loving it. And like, I didn't have that story. I had preeclampsia. Oh, my boob pad is all the way up here. Sorry if that looks weird. I just realized. Sorry, typical me. When I'm talking about something serious, sometimes I have to like, I don't know, crack a joke. So like, I don't get too upset about it. At preeclampsia, I went from like this skinny person. I think I was like 100. Maybe when I met baby daddy, I was like 120. I went up to like 250 pounds. Like I was so swollen everywhere. Like my face was literally out to here. My ankles looked like I had tires around them. I spent a lot of time feeling sick. And she came very early. She came almost 8 weeks early. The whole thing was just traumatic, and I feel very bad. Sometimes I wonder if I didn't properly connect with her at first. Now we're like completely bonded, but I wonder like if I didn't feel completely connected, and that's why I relapsed. It's nothing on her. I don't know if anybody can understand what I'm talking about. Like there was just certain things where like I didn't bond with her in a normal way. And then when I had her, she was in NICU for 29 days. So my days were just spent looking at her in a bassinet in an incubator. And So I often wonder, like I said, if we didn't get to bond a lot of ways. There's more to it. Like, I don't feel like it's really appropriate to share, but I tried to be the best mom for a while, but that addiction was calling in the back of my head. And I wasn't breastfeeding or anything, so it's not like she was getting alcohol. She had to have a special formula. But I started sneak drinking again. Like when she would nap, I would drink, and wasn't like passed out drunk to where I couldn't care for her, but how could I have a baby and an alcohol addiction and pay attention to both things? It's not that, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, right. I always like try to find the humor somewhere. It's a sad story, so like I don't want to like get upset and be bawling or anything. So so I got caught. There's only so much you can hide. There's only so long an alcoholic can hide sneak drinking. For like a few times you can get away with it. Maybe for a few weeks you could get away with it until you can't, until it's obvious. And there was no trying to really get me help at that point. I think baby daddy had been through like enough with me, and it was like, no, like this is it. You're not going to effing do this. Yeah, so that it was a horrible ending. Like, in one day he picked up my daughter out of my arms and took her to his mom's and said, like, until you get better, F this. And we had to get the courts involved. I had to sign over rights. And I could have fought it. I could have got temporarily sober and fought it. I could have fought him. But I signed that paperwork and I said, okay. And I said, I need a year. I sat down with them. I need like a year. I need help. And I went through rehab. I went through sober living. And then I got out and I relapsed. And then I had to pretty much do everything all over again. There was never a time in my addiction where she was kept from me or that I couldn't see her. I was always able to. My drinking while she was still, a baby and young, like I said, it wasn't like these horrible things were happening. It was just, should you be taking your baby to a liquor store run? Should you be doing that? And I think going on a million walks a day kind of raised a few eyebrows. It was just, I wasn't doing right by her. Like I said, I think people want to believe like this horrible event happened and I was like banned from seeing her. It was no, I was sneak drinking again. And there's no way with a problem like mine, there's no way to hide it. There's no way to maintain it. There's no way that something's going to get neglected because drinking is so much more important. You know what I mean? So, I have a crazy story, you guys. I think I kind of touched on like the basics, the main parts. I've had horrible things happen to me in addiction. One of the times when I was living in Pomona for a year, that year was spent not even in my damn apartment that I was renting. I don't know why I did stupid shit, but I did. I almost got trafficked, you guys, in Pomona. I was hanging out at this liquor store that everybody hung out in the parking lot, and I had a roommate, which is why I didn't really hang out at my place too much, and they knew I had a problem. So I was hanging out at like this liquor store that everybody hung out with. I'm sorry, I need lip gloss. And I would get comments all the time too, like, you don't look like you're supposed to be here. You don't look like that. And this group of like guys and like one girl befriended me and invited me back to the hotel to go hang out with them and party. And I did that for a few days. And then I started noticing weird things happening. By the second or third day, they started like bugging me for money a lot about how I was going to make it and what I was going to do. I started noticing the room next to us, people were going in and out of, and it was a lot of activity. There was payments happening. I started questioning things, but not really realizing the severity of it until this day where like they all started bugging me about money and how I needed to pay my fair share. I needed to pay my way. And what was I going to do? Because if I can't come up with it in a couple minutes, then I need to get to the room next door. And I remember a guy coming in too that same day, and it was like a bunch of girls, because by then it was like a bunch of girls hanging out now. So I truly believe they hung out with me to make me cool with them or make them seem cool, like they were going to protect me on the streets and like they had other ideas. I remember this guy coming into the room full of girls and saying like, okay, which one of you guys are going in the bathroom with me? I just paid so-and-so however much money. And I knew they were going to make me start doing stuff like that. I overheard conversations about moving to another city because like they've already done whatever. They've already done enough in Pomona or whatever they needed to do. There's more stuff than that, but like I don't know if it's appropriate to share on YouTube, but I'll share how I got rescued. I heard somebody talking about how much they would pay to sleep with me, you guys. Like they were going to, what's the proper word other than traffic? Like I didn't want to do that. I got my mom to rescue me. I finally told them that I'd be able to get money. I just needed to call my mom. I told her I needed money. She heard the distress in my voice. She was crying when she heard my voice. I met her at a train station in Pomona. I told the guys, because they followed, like they weren't going to let me just go alone. I told them they needed to stay back from the car, else she wasn't going to pay them at all. And as soon as I looked like I was going to reach in to grab the money, I jumped in, locked the door, and we sped off. Like my mom saved me. There was one time, another person in Pomona, I was hanging out with, partying with them, and something happened that made me want to leave and stop partying with them, and they wouldn't let me leave. It was really terrifying. Like they wouldn't let me leave. Every time I tried to leave the door or walk out, like they would block it and push me back. And it was like going on 24 hours of that. And I was terrified. And I literally had to convince that person that I needed to go and I needed to go back to my apartment that I shared with my roommate and change and get dressed because I was going to come back and then we would be together. Like I convinced them we would be together forever. That was the only way they were going to let me leave. It was terrifying. I moved out of Pomona after that, by the way. I've had terrifying things happen to me in my addiction. And I know some channels are going to clip this and use this against me, but like, I feel like when I come on here and I'm talking and I'm giving my opinion, maybe not everybody knows how much I've actually went through and knows like the struggles I've literally been through. I'm not sitting up on a pedestal thinking I'm better than anybody else. I'm not. I've been through some really bad stuff that's like changed me forever. Things that like I still see when I go to sleep at night, you know. But I know when people are lying and I know when people are manipulating because I've done it all. I could see when people are clearly not sober or clean and they're lying and say that they are. I can see addiction talking. I could just see it all. I've done it all. I've been through it all. So I usually just talk on experience and yeah, I don't know. That's kind of my story in 37 minutes, as much as I can detail I can go into. I remember my last day drinking. It wasn't like a big thing that happened. I didn't get arrested for the millionth time for being drunk in public. It was just a genuine feeling of like guilt, shame, everything hitting me at once. And I was drinking on a corner. I was sitting on the corner. And I knew that it wasn't what I wanted to do anymore. See, before when I needed to get sober, I had like all these huge wake-up calls. You know, I fell 2 stories onto my head. I had a seizure. I had a stroke. I got arrested for DUIs. You would think those would be wake-up calls. I had all these things happen. And sure, I'd get sober temporarily after each event, maybe for a few days, maybe for a few weeks, maybe for a few months. But something about the last day that I drank, I just knew I couldn't do it anymore. I just felt sick and tired of being sick and tired. I felt like a horrible mom. How could you have relapsed when you worked so hard? Like, how could you have done this? You know, I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired. I didn't want to be the mom who just gets to visit her kids. I didn't want to be the mom who, I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want my daughter to ever worry about me again. I didn't want my mom to worry every single night. I wanted her to finally be able to sleep again. I think it was just everything hit me at once. Everything hit me at once. And I just remember feeling so much shame. And it was just like, I don't want to live another day like this. And if I have to, then like, no, thank you, you know? So, it changed my life. September 10th, I will have 6 years sober. there's other things, like there's other struggles I had, you know, in many different sober livings. I got kicked out for snorting pills, for learning how to snort pills in sober living. Like I learned certain antidepressants and certain ADHD medication, you can snort it and it feels the same effect as cola. And so I've truly been through it all. Somehow I managed to stop doing all that shit. Somehow I've stayed strong. The worst things I do now is I vape. I vape when I'm in pain. This is my nicotine vape, but like when I'm in pain and I have to, which all my doctors know about, all my doctors who have worked on me, surgeries, my regular doctor, everything, they all know my struggles. So I have a THC vape that like I'll hit once or twice every few days. Like it's not every day, all day. It's but it's what works for me. It's what my doctors are okay with, what I'm okay with, what my family's okay with. I have a lot of different problems. Like I think a lot of my spine issues have to do with that fall. I think I was born probably with some of them, but I have something called degenerative disc disease. And my spine is basically like collapsing. It's degenerating. And then now I have something called adjacent syndrome because I had a spinal fusion and like 3 other back surgeries. And because my bottom part of my back is fused together, it's causing like a whole lot of crap to happen to the top part of my spine. So like I actually have an appointment tomorrow with my doctor who did my surgery for my spinal fusion, that doctor anyways. And we're going to talk about what we can do about the top. I'm praying to God I don't have to have surgery. If you guys will pray for that too, that would mean a lot for me. But, doctors, even though they're very strict with medications, there's still a bunch of medications I should probably be taking for pain. And I just don't, because though I'm so far past my addictive crap, I don't like medicine being in the house for me. It freaks me out. It doesn't give me a good feeling. I have one medicine in the house I take for my sleep, which is Seroquel. And I wouldn't sleep if I didn't take it. So I have to take it. But I've been on a journey. I've been addicted to things. I've been recovered from a lot of things. It's been 40 years of chaos. Let me tell you that. Belinda, don't do what I'm doing. Research it and see what. I have a feeling that's a troll comment, but I'm not telling anybody like go smoke weed. I'm telling you, if you have degenerative disc disease and you have a spinal fusion and you have chronic pain, talk to your doctors. If you don't want to be on 6 different pills, talk to your doctors and see what the best route is for you. Me being on a bunch of different pain medication isn't going to help me. It may help with the pain for a little bit, but it's going to F up my mind. I don't do anything that alters my mind. Like when I hit my nicotine or my THC vape, I'm not doing it to get high. I'm doing it to help the pain. So I don't know. I'm not saying go follow my way, go do my way. I'm saying what works for me. And I'm definitely not trying to make this like an official AA meeting. This is an unofficial meeting of where people talk open and honestly, and we learn from each other and we talk about what works for us. My way might help somebody, my way may not. Find what's right for you. Hey, Megan. Stay strong. Okay, so you are okay. Yeah, I'm not saying do my way though. I'm not encouraging anybody to go leave their house right now and go buy THC. For one, it's probably illegal where you are. And for two, my way works for me. My way works for me. So you have to find what works for you in sobriety. I don't think AA and NA are the only way to get and stay sober. I think people should go to rehab. I think when you're in rehab, you should go to meetings because you're protected in the group of people. Rehabs are responsible for you. I don't know how I feel about going after that, though. I don't. Based on my experience, I don't have a very good experience with AA and NA, so I don't know. Sobriety is definitely a personal case. Weed, cigarettes, both have controversy around them. But at the end of the day, if you're on a better path, that's what's important. I agree. I definitely agree. I love you too, Megan. It is a natural drug. I've seen it help so many people. So I've never had like a bad thing like towards it. I've never, and And then people are like, oh, if you smoke weed, you're not really sober. Like, that's your issue. Like, you can have fun thinking that. Alcohol, I would drink and either wind up in jail or wake up at a 7-Eleven or wherever. Like, hitting my THC vape, I'm good. It's like you wouldn't even know it, you know? I don't know. Melinda, I don't know if you should only do half of those. I don't know. I'm very confused. Okay, so we have trolls here. Oops. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, no one can define your sobriety. I'm also all about harm reduction. Like, I think if people, I've met people who've come off H and used THC, and that's helped them, like harm reduction, you know? I don't know, but you'll have to do what's best for you, and like definitely research everything, weigh your pros and cons, talk to your doctors, be honest with your partner, your family, your friends, you know? Thank you. I hope I don't. Like, I don't know if I can go through another surgery, to be honest. Like, I don't think I have it in me. I don't know. This last one, it was a mess. Like, so the recovery was very hard. Like, a lot of things happened the night of my surgery where they thought I was going to stop breathing, all kinds of stuff. I left the hospital and I couldn't use the restroom. I had to have a catheter for like a month. It sucked. Like, it just wasn't, not that surgery is supposed to be a fun time, but it was very hard on me. Like, it was very, I felt so much shame. It's so hard to explain. I had my surgery around Thanksgiving time, like early November. And that Thanksgiving day, I remember like nobody wanted to cook in our family. Nobody was in the mood. So we went to Mrs. Knott's, a restaurant we really like at Knott's Berry Farm. I like the biscuits and the salad, but my family really likes, and I like their pie, but my family really likes to eat there. And the catheter, I wasn't used to wearing like the bag, and I wasn't sure how to like even really put on. In the month that I had it, I still didn't learn properly how to tie it to my leg, anything. But like, I remember I put it down on my leg and then I put an Ugg boot over it. Like, not an Ugg boot, but it was a boot. I wore, you know, those boots that we all wear in the winter. So I remember I had my big old boot over it. So like you couldn't see, and somehow the bag opened, like the little thing that closes it, somehow movement, I don't know, it opened, and literally, I don't need to give you the details, but I was sloshing around with pee in my boot. And I was so embarrassed. I remember I cried at the dinner table. I just wanted to leave. Like, it was such a hard time. Like, emotionally, physically, it was not an easy time for me. Yeah. Hey, Buster, smash that like button. So what my life is like now in sobriety, let's talk about happy things. I have my family back. There was a period of time where nobody wanted to talk to me. I have my family back. They all love me. I'm close with them. I live down the street from my sister. We talk a million times a day. As soon as I end this live stream, we're actually going on a Walmart trip. So we're going to go shopping. But we're very, very close. I live back in my hometown, and I've been able to make amends to old neighbors. And actually, I've seen some of the police officers that used to arrest me, and I've had lovely chats with them. I have my daughter back. I have her more than half the time. When I first got her back, I had to split, like, it was like, first it was weekends, and then I had to like work up. I got joint custody, but you have to like work up to it. And so then, like, even when a couple years ago, when I first started my YouTube channel, I only had her like Thursday through Sunday sometimes. Now I have her all the time. It's very rare, except for this past, I would say, week. She's been like off and on going on little out of town adventures with like family because it's summer. But I have her more than anyone else, and we're very close, and it's amazing. And she's my best friend in the world, and she's very proud of me. I have a job. Life is good. Life is good. I'm able to deal with things now. I'm comfortable in my own skin. Before, where I felt like I just didn't belong, and I always felt rejected, and just, I don't know. I now feel I love myself. So even though sometimes I still don't think I'm meant for this world, I don't know why I'm here. Sometimes I don't get it. But I'm comfortable with myself, and I like myself enough. So like when people talk shit about me or are mean to me or gossip about me or lie about me, like it doesn't really affect me because I like myself today, and I'm comfortable with the woman I am today. I'm comfortable in who I've become. I'm a hippie soul, and I will never be like the normal mom who's baking for the holidays and, dinner at a set time and planned all week for this one dinner. I will never be that mom. Like, I will never be the polished, put together mom. Like, that's just not me. I'm the fun mom who will go swimming with you, who will ride a scooter with you in her hamster onesie. I will go hiking with you. I will go on a roller coaster rides with you. I will do it all. But I'm not the typical normal mom with perfect credit driving the BMW. Like, that's not me, and it's never going to be me, and that's okay. I like myself today. That's one of the things you get back when you get clean and sober. Like, you get your confidence back, and you like who you are, and you're no longer running and hiding from yourself. You can look at yourself in the mirror. You can go to sleep at night. Before, I still struggle with sleep sometimes, but that's like a lot of trauma and stuff. I used to have the hardest time ever sleeping, though, before I got sober. Anytime I would try to, it was all the thoughts, the guilt, the shame, everything would just ring through my head constantly. And I would remember some of the worst things I've done, and it would play over and over and over and over in my head. And it would keep me drinking a lot, because I couldn't face who I'd become and what I'd done. So I just stayed drunk so I didn't have to deal with myself. But like today, I go to sleep. I don't have to beat myself up, I wake up in the morning not wondering what the hell I did the night before. It's a wonderful feeling not waking up in jail and wondering what the F I did to get there. There's way too many mornings I spent that way. What the hell did I do last night? I never want to feel that ever again in my life. My family was always worried about me. My mom said, like, that entire time I was drinking and out running the streets, she didn't get a decent night's sleep for years. It's barely now, And even when I first got sober, things weren't entirely perfect. It took a lot of getting trust and gaining people's trust back and showing that I'm a changed person. So if you're newly sober and like your family's still kind of questioning you and iffy with you and you're wondering when that comes, it does come. It just takes time. Just show them, because words don't mean anything. At some point your words just stop meaning anything, because I lied so much. I used to promise I was tomorrow I'm not gonna drink again. Please, I'm gonna drink tonight, just one last beer, and I'm never gonna drink again. Oh my gosh, I would do that all the time. So like, I would say maybe a year and a half after I was fully sober, maybe 2 years after, things got back to complete normal. Like, things were better. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Dino's Baby. I got a super chat. Dino's Baby sent me a super chat. Woohoo, thank you so much. Oh, really, Pissy Boots? If you guys like these, we can do more like these. I have a lot of stories. I have a lot. I just didn't know if I should whip them all out at once or like get us used to this kind of stuff. If anybody wants to come up and share for a few minutes, like, please feel free. You can share your experience, strength, and hope, and maybe tell us what you're doing now to stay on the right path and on the right journey. Because what I want us to do, you guys, if you don't feel comfortable sharing the first time, that's okay too. What I would like us to do is show different ways. Like, first of all, we're not all recovering from drugs and alcohol. Some is food, some is porn, some is gambling, shopping. We're not all recovering from the same thing. And maybe your story, somebody out there needs to hear it. And you can tell us what you're doing to stay on track, how you're spending less, how you're saying no to shopping, how, people have addiction to cigarettes, caffeine. What is that sound? And now it stopped. It's a bird. Okay. It's an interesting sounding bird. Yeah, it takes a few years. Like, I know we want things instantly. Like, we want things instantly, right? Like, I got sober. Like, why aren't you treating me better? Why aren't you treating me differently? I would get so offended at first. My mom constantly, like, when I first got sober, anytime she was around me, she would like sniff the air, and it used to irk the crap out of me. Like, it used to bother me so much. I remember the day she stopped doing it, I think was like a year and a half sober. And it was the best day ever. It used to drive me batshit crazy when she would sniff. I would get so offended. Or oftentimes if I had a drink or something, like, she would just take it and sniff it. Like, but I get it now. Like, looking back, I totally get it because I was a pathological liar. But it still irked the shit out of me. One of these times too, I am going to have my mom, like, I'm going to do an interview with my mom and like ask her maybe like, when she knew I was having a problem, or when did she see the turning point? Because there's certain questions I would love to know too. Like, when did she start noticing things? I know her answer. One of the times, it was when I was going through when I was waiting to be sentenced for the second DUI, and I told you guys about that. And I was going crazy and I was drinking all the time. You know, those little wine bottles, I would put them in my scrub pockets. So I'd walk in the house and sometimes they would clank, and I don't know how I never got caught that way. But I remember going into the room and like I would hide them in shoe boxes. And I used to have we used to listen to these things called CDs and tapes. I know. And I had like these CD holders and tape holders, and I would hide them in there. And I remember my mom, like, one day I wasn't there and she came over and she went into my room and she found all my bottles and she had them all piled up on the bed. And it was a mountain. Like, you saw how much I was drinking. That was a wake-up call. I'm sure that's it. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the super sticker, Sheila. I got a super sticker. Sheila sent me a super sticker. Woohoo! Thank you so much. Megan, I'm really lucky because I put them through a lot. Most of my arrests, you guys, I had 2 DUIs. I'm not proud of that at all. I still face consequences to this day for them. You know, I feel very bad about them. But again, I was 20, 21 and 23. I'm 40 now. So like, I've done a lot of work to change. Most of my arrests were drunk in public. I was always drunk, roaming around. I used to do stupid shit. I stole one time from a 7-Eleven. I think it was a Four Loko. I think it was one of the few times that I drank one of those. I was bad. I was really bad. There was a major arrest I got arrested for, but that I've talked to you guys a little bit about, and I don't want to go into a whole lot of details here, but my family member was sick and we didn't know it was dementia, and they were very angry and they were getting very violent, and I was there, and I reacted terribly to somebody trying to hurt me. And had I not been drinking, things would have been a lot differently. I reacted terribly, and like, I still regret that to this day. But that person forgives me. They cried. I cried. It was a whole thing. We forgave each other. When they passed away, they got to see me sober. And I promised them that I would continue living my life sober, and I've kept that promise. It was a really bad day. That day, I think I was fed up with, I had a lot of feelings. I was confused about what was going on with my family member. I was hurt at like why they were so angry and mean. I don't think any of us understood what was going on. We didn't know he was sick. He didn't know he was sick. And some people who get Alzheimer's and dementia get very, very angry. People are probably wondering why the hell I'm talking about this, because it still gets brought up. And I think there's a lot of new people to my channel, and they deserve to hear the truth about all of me, you know, so they can hear I really have had a lot of experience in addiction, with crap, with everything. And I just try and do better now and live my life being a better person. Every day I make amends to my family by doing something nice and kind for them. It's kind of something in me. I spend every day trying to make up for it to them, and I will continue probably to do that for the rest of my life. My daughter, she knew why she didn't live with me, but she didn't know everything. So she had questions before of why she didn't live with me. She was answered and knew I had a problem. Now that we are together a majority of the time, she knows a lot more, and I'm starting to tell her not the worst stories, but I'm starting to tell her more about my problem, how big my problem was before, because I understand kids start younger these days. And I always felt like I couldn't ask my mom questions when I was younger, and I don't want that to happen with my daughter. I want her to feel like she can always come to me. So I'm starting to tell her now, and she's like really amazed that like she doesn't, like that person is not anybody she would recognize. So it's a cool feeling to have her so proud of me. It's the best feeling in the world. Thank you so much, Buster. Yeah, I want to do something this year for my 6th year sober. I don't know what, but I definitely want to do something big. I feel like this year sober was definitely like a year of learning. I feel like no other years, like, I don't know, the first year of sobriety, yeah, it's not like the best, like you're learning and you're healing a lot. But I felt like kind of after that, I've had an easy time. Like there wasn't too many cravings. There wasn't a whole lot of, I don't know how else to describe it. Like bad things happen. Like we had deaths in the family and stuff, but like I didn't feel the need to, I didn't have the urge to drink. I didn't. This year has been a year of learning and growth. Like this year put me through a lot and really tested my sobriety in ways that I didn't know could be tested. But I'm still here and I'm still sober, and I feel like for my 6 years, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to do something big, and I'm going to take you guys along with me, whatever it is. Maybe if I could just do something for the day, I don't know. Maybe we could do a live stream and like raise up for like the day to go do something, and we can celebrate together. Cause like you guys have been a big part of my sobriety, a huge part. Baba said, we can all make mistakes, some worse than others. What makes us isn't the mistakes, but how we respond and react. It's a choice as to letting them break you, or you breaking bad patterns. So proud for you. Thank you so much. Erin said, I mean, you made amends and work to do better. If some people don't accept that, well, it's between you and your higher power. I have a lot of respect for you. Thank you, Erin. I have a lot of respect for you too. I really, really value your opinion here, and I hope you know that. I didn't mean to put that on camera. Hold on, I meant to put them in timeout. I understand, you guys, there's a lot of people online who don't like me, but like, is this really the time or the place to try and troll? You know, you don't have to like me, but can you at least respect this? Like, that's all I have to say. Thank you, Buster. Thank you so much. Also, twice broken jaw, once TV, once a vehicle. Oh, wow, Megan. It's a blessing to not obsess about alcohol. Yeah, I spent so much time, so much wasted time just plotting, scamming, and scheming on how I'm going to get my next bottle. How much of it can I get? Who can I find to hang out with me to buy it? Like, it was just, I don't miss those days. I felt like, I don't know. I remember at one point in my addiction, I literally marked off each day in a calendar. I went 1 year without smiling once. Like, that's insane. I smile all the time now, but like 1 year, I don't know. And that was the only thing I had going on, was to mark another day I didn't smile. Like that was the extent of my life. I had nothing else going on but alcohol and that. And I don't miss those days. I don't miss it. I've had pancreatitis from drinking. I've had spots on my liver. That's all better. Like alcohol brings nothing good to your life. Like, I don't know. I understand there's some people who can drink it in moderation and good for them, but those of us who can't, it's like the absolute devil. Belinda, thank you. I hope that you guys learned something. I hope somebody maybe needed to hear, I don't know, maybe if somebody's struggling, they can know, like, look, no matter what you're going through, if you go back to drugs and alcohol, it's going to make your situation much worse. It really is. Alcohol and drugs or food or whatever is not going to help you get out of whatever's going on. It's just a temporary Band-Aid. And once you're done drinking, once the drugs wear off, once you're done with your mukbang or eating whatever, reality is back. It hits you right in the face 20 times harder. Alcohol, drugs, food, whatever, gambling, shopping is not going to save you from whatever's going on. I've dealt with a lot of stuff in sobriety, a lot of stuff. And I can tell you that my worst day sober is still better than my best day drinking. It's a miracle to be able to work through things and to not have to numb myself. It's a miracle. And I promise you, sobriety is worth it. I promise you, if you feel like it's unattainable or it's too hard, literally just take it one day at a time. And if that's too much for you, take things 1 second at a time. I believe in you. You can do this. If I can change my life, I promise you, you can too. And if you have a feeling, if anybody's struggling right now and they feel like relapsing, like reach out to me. I'm not a professional. I just know what works for me, what hasn't worked before. I can promise you staying busy is really good for you. If you're struggling right now, find a new hobby, really dive into it. Don't sit and stay stuck in that feeling. Acknowledge that you're craving whatever it is, acknowledge it, and then move on. Go do something. Go do something that makes you happy. And I promise that helps. Dynamite, hi. Reality can be so difficult and beautiful. Isn't that the truth? Belinda is a troll. That sucks. Orange is Paige. No, who's that? Alcohol isn't the problem. I'm the problem. I was born different, but alcohol for normal people can be a nice treat. Yeah, for normal people, it's a nice treat. For me, I'm allergic. Anytime I drink it, I break out in handcuffs. That's just how it is. Like, I can't drink like a normal person. I've tried it. I've even tried, I remember one of my attempts at getting sober, I only drank near beers for like, I think a week. But like, I was drinking an insane amount of them. Like an insane amount. So like, I don't know, like for me, any type of alcohol, like I have to stay away from it. Not even near beers. I'm sure some people can drink those normally. Like, my dad drinks near beers or whatever, but like every once in a while, he's not a big beer drinker, but he won't drink things with like actual high alcohol content. He likes his, was it St. Pauli's Girl or whatever? But I can't do that. I think if I drank a near beer, it would probably spark something in my mind where I was like, oh, I think it would be very bad for me. You want more of these live streams? Okay, we can definitely do more. Yeah, if you feel a particular kind of way, phone someone, anyone. Yeah, and just be honest about how you feel. Be honest. Find someone in your life that can be like your accountability partner. Like when you're feeling a certain way, you can call them and they'll come have coffee with you, or they'll stay on the phone with you for an hour until the feeling passes. I promise you cravings do pass. Just sit it out a few minutes. A few minutes will probably feel like a lifetime to you, but once it passes, like you will feel so much better. Don't give into it. Don't give into it, you guys. Let's see, just finished cooking a fresh batch. Oh gosh. The trolls in here, I just want to say, like, this says more about you than it does about me. Like, you can try and hurt me, but like, it's not a very good look to come into a meeting where someone's trying to tell their life story and you just do that. Like, it's not a good look, and you should probably find a hobby or find some like better way to manage your time. Yeah, near beer is definitely not the answer. Oh, really, Joe? Yeah, St. Pauli Girl NA. Yeah, I think that's his drink. Take a walk, buy a coloring book, gardening. That's great advice. Walking through feelings. I remember one of these sober livings, I ended up getting a year in. I spent like a year living there. I got a year sober. I remember I used to walk through my feelings there, just around the street over and over and over again until like my feelings of anger or whatever passed. It really resets your mind. I don't know Charlie's mom. I didn't know about that. I don't really look up anything about AA these days. It's kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. You can understand why, I'm sure, but maybe I'll look into it. It can be very cliquish. It can be. I think you really have to find a really good meeting or really do your research to find one that's, I don't even want to go into the AA thing. I feel like it helps a lot of people, and just because I had a bad experience doesn't mean everybody will, But I just want everybody to be very careful. That's it. If like you are a young single person, it doesn't even matter actually age or anything, but just be careful and be aware. And if you're a man, stick with the men. If you're a woman, stick with the women. Like I don't know. And for some reason I could only buy those. Okay. No problem, Megan. I originally, when I first started my channel, I wanted to talk more recovery. I wanted to talk more about my experiences. I think as my channel's grown and there's quite a few haters, it's been kind of hard because it seems like anything I say gets used against me or like thrown back in my face or twisted. But to be honest, like I don't care what they think about me anymore. Like they could think I'm a terrible mom. They could think I'm a horrible human based on my past, but they're really missing out on the person I actually am. And many of those people who are dragging me and hating on me are drinking every day during their streams or doing whatever every day. Like they're suffering from addiction too. So like I get it. When I was in addiction, I hated sober people. Like I hated people at meetings when oh my gosh, when I was so like, well, not when I was sober. I used to drink at meetings too. I used to go in the bathroom and drink, but I hated sober people. Like I thought they were smug. I thought that they thought they knew it all. They were annoying to me. I hated them. So like, I get it. The people who are clowning on me because of my addiction, a lot of them are still drinking. The people who are dragging me for my arrest records, a few of them, one particular was arrested like just a year ago. So it seems like the people who are hating on me and dragging me and judging me are like not doing too much better. So like maybe they're hurting and hurt people. But it doesn't bother me. Like I want to be there for the people who are struggling or want to hear what I have to say or need some advice or on the same journey as me. Like you guys are what matters, not the haters. Not the haters. So I want to start sharing more and I will. I didn't see anybody ask to come up and that's okay. I completely understand too. I think maybe we need to set it up. And if you guys liked this, we can do it like as a Wednesday thing if you want. Like every Wednesday at noon until 1. We'll come on and share our story. Next week, I won't share my story. I'll let it just be like an open panel and we can share. But I want to set rules now, you guys. Be very careful when you come up on a panel and sharing your history because even though we're a safe group here and this corner of YouTube is safe, there's people who don't like me who may use this stuff to, just be very careful, okay? There's a lot of trolls out there, so don't like share specific names or cities or specific places that you go to or went to. I would just be very careful. Like don't use names, share very like vaguely, if that makes sense. And then I want to say too, when we do have guests come on the panel, the mods, I'll have to add more mods, but like no trolling will be allowed. Like just kick them out during our meetings because this isn't the time or place. Anywhere else, like they drag me everywhere else, but this isn't the time nor the place. So we'll do that. And then I guess have you ever been to a meeting where they set a timer? I guess that's what we'll do. Like maybe we'll set it for like 5-10 minutes and then that way more people can share. But I think I would love to do this more if you guys would like to. Erin said, I believe in AA, the 12 steps and traditions. I don't know the concepts. The program's wonderful for me, but the people don't always represent it. Principles versus personalities, but that can be difficult. I think that's a really good point. I think the world would be a lot better if everybody worked the steps, to be honest. I don't have anything against working the steps. I think I have something against what meetings have become and how unsafe it can feel. And, people record you. People can record you. It's just, I wish there was more, more protection in general. But I guess don't just go there. My best advice is don't just go there thinking everybody is your best friend. Like find somebody that you trust, and find a sponsor you trust and stick with them and follow who do they hang out with? What are the people that are doing what they're doing? Who are the people that have the most time? I want to copy what they're doing. How did they get 20 years? I would do that. I think me being raised in a family where like addiction wasn't anywhere, I wasn't raised around the meetings. I think in general, if you guys haven't caught on, my problem is I'm always too trusting. So I've always had that problem. I think I went into meetings thinking everybody's really there to help you and everybody's really your friend. And oh, they really care that you don't have cigarettes. That's why they're buying you a pack. Or they're giving you a ride to the meeting because you don't have your car here in sober living. I trusted the wrong people. And just because somebody has 30 years sober doesn't mean that they're a good person. Like, time does not make you a good person, you know? I think just be very careful. I made a lot of mistakes and I continue to make mistakes trusting people. I'm still on a journey with that. I'm still trying to bring my inner bitch out more, but it's a struggle. It's a struggle. The people that troll are simply jealous because you turned your life around. They can have that too. Anybody can change their life around. I think even if Foodie Beauty really wanted to turn her life around, she could. I don't think she wants to. I think she's accepted. There's some people, you know, sadly throughout recovery, I've met people who don't want to get better, who don't want to get sober, who don't want to stop drinking, who don't want to stop doing lines, who don't want to give up whatever. And you don't see them make it to a very old age. I'm just saying that. There's definitely people who accept their addiction and they don't want to get better. And it's a sad reality. I've seen a lot of people I was friends with pass from addiction. I don't think Foodie Beauty takes it very seriously either. I don't think she thinks it's a huge problem because it's not a drug and it's not alcohol. I think there's a few things going on. I wish she would change her life around. Even though she continues to say the most horrible stuff about my 10-year-old child who's been through a lot, Foodie, you should really be ashamed of yourself. Even though she really has said some hateful things and she's an animal abuser and a people abuser and she's all horrible things. I can't think of anything nice to say about her, to be honest. I still wish she would turn her life around. I wish she would know what it was like to wake up and not worry about how fast she can get her fix. I wish she would actually have people in her life that truly love her. And I wish that she would use her platform for good. I wish that she would really go on a journey and teach other people how she changed her life. I wish that for her. I've actually prayed for her. As many horrible things as she said about me and my child, I've actually prayed about her before, many times. I don't like her. I think I would love for her to see her get better, so she has to take accountability and apologize to everybody. That's what I would like. So, Glow Moonfish, nobody invited you personally here. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. I just wanted to say that. I didn't hand you a personal invitation and tell you that being here was so important to me. I think if you don't want to be here, you should probably leave. Nobody personally invited you here. This is a stream for my subscribers and anybody who wants to change their life. You clearly are stuck and you don't really have any business being here, Blowfish or whatever your name was. Is there a movie which talks about addiction that really made an impact on you? Yes, we used to watch it in rehab all the time. Was it 28 Days? Hold on, I think it was 28 Days, and there was another one. 28 Days, no, with Sandra Bullock? There's a few, and there's actually a book that really opened my eyes, and I have a horrible memory. It was something, I can't remember the name of the book, but I'll have to look it up. I have it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Is it 28 Days with Sandra Bullock from 2000? Yes. Okay. So it's called 28 Days. It says it's on IMDb TV. I highly recommend that movie. It's very, it'll get you in your feels though. So like trigger warning. Yeah, I think it's 28 Days. Have I considered starting a church? No, because I don't go to church myself. So like, I don't want to start a church. Did you get timed out by me? If you did, I'm sorry. There's quite a few trolls and I'm trying to time out the people who are being disrespectful. So if I time somebody else out on accident, I'm really sorry. Yeah, Oz, definitely check it out. I have a personal invite for you for a bender. Wow. So these are the kind of people, it's very sad to me. It's very sad to me that anybody would come in here and making fun of that. I have a feeling some were foodie sock accounts. I have a feeling who the other ones are for. Foodie, the difference between me and you, if you happen to be watching this, when I commented on your video about you coming out on about your disorder and your addiction, you monetized it for views. You weren't really saying it because you wanted to work on your problem or to help other people. You did it because you were desperate for views. Since that video has come out, all we've seen you do is indulge in your addiction over and over and over again. And every time we see you, you're eating more and more and more. You have no intentions of changing. You have no intentions of eating less or dieting. If you did, you would be spending less time searching your name on YouTube and chasing around Salah, and you'd be asking for help. You'd be looking for meetings. You'd be doing anything other than what you're doing. To the people coming in here and teasing me for my addiction and for sharing my story, I hope one day you find sobriety, and I hope one day you find peace, and I hope one day you can change your life around and do something more with your life than coming in here trolling a meeting. If that's all you have to do today is to come in here and troll people who are talking about their life and their struggles, then like you really need to do some soul searching. And I feel bad for you. Like, I feel bad for you. The Rev Breezy. 28 days. It's sad. One specific part, yes, can be, I don't know about, it's very hard to watch one part, but it's a wake-up call kind of a movie. And I think I've had to watch that, well, I guess 28 times for 28 different rehabs. If we're talking about foodie, though, it's more Hungry Fat Chick, in my opinion. The movie The Whale was very powerful. Oh, gosh. Yeah, for foodie, I guess what I want to say about her and why I call her out so much. Can you imagine? Okay, so I just told you guys basically my life story, touched on the most important pieces. There's a lot more to it. But can you imagine me telling you all that and saying, you know, I'm an alcoholic. I had a horrible problem with alcohol. And then by later tonight, I got on a live stream and I was drinking with you guys and telling you, but not to judge, because this isn't me. This isn't a relapse. This isn't a relapse because I'm controlling how much I drink. It's not a relapse because I'm only having one drink instead of 20. This isn't a relapse. And then the next day I come on and I'm having 2 drinks. And then each day you see me, I'm coming on drinking more. But you can't say a word and you can't call it a relapse. That's what she's doing with food. She admitted she has a problem, but I truly believe she did that because she wanted to. She's doing a song and dance for Salah, so he won't be mad at her. And I truly believe she needed views. I will be honest about that. I think she needed views. Her views have sucked. She's not making 20 grand a month anymore. I think it was desperation. But since we've heard her talk about her addiction, all she's done is come on and eat more and more and more. But it's not a binge, and don't call it a binge. And if you say anything about it, she's going to block you. We're not supposed to say anything about that. She's saying to people, if you eat how I do, if you eat this amount of food, you too are going to lose 7 pounds like me in a week. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous. And fried green tomatoes. Yeah, Charlie's mom. At this point, I am just blocking people that are rude. All right. I've had issues with alcohol in the past, binge drinking especially, got myself into some crazy situations. Just glad to be here. I've moderated for years and even done long stretches of sobriety. I think binge drinking can be tricky because you can convince yourself it's not really a problem because you can go an amount of time without drinking, right? But when you do, it's a lot, and it could be for a few days or for a week, and then you might not touch it again for 6 months to a year. It can be tricky because I think it just can be really tricky. I think it's a really good sign that you're saying like you want to stop. You've had periods of sobriety. I think it shows that you want this. Maybe there's something that you're still working out, and maybe something that's like holding you back from taking the plunge and quitting. But I believe in you, and I think you can do it. I think it sounds like you still have a little bit of work to figure out, right? But it's such a good sign that you're even saying that and being honest about it. I think that you'll quit when you're ready. And I believe in you. I know you can do it. You can't moderate, and I'm proud I'm sober now. I'm proud of you too. Her bottom is coming. Oh, it's coming. I think she's had a few bottoms. I've even wondered sometimes, like, does she just not have a bottom? But then I realized she's had several. She's had several wake-up calls. She's very stubborn, and she's going to have a life-changing wake-up call. She's one of those people where something big is going to happen, and it's going to have to scare her straight. And I'm worried for her. I don't think it's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be pretty. Yeah, there's no moderating with addiction. There's none. I'm trying hard, Breezy. There's a lot of them. Thank you, Anna. No, it's okay. I believe in karma, and everybody that's in here doing that now, trolling, they're going to stub their toe or something later. It's coming. Don't worry. I'm proud of you, Carrie. You're sober now. That's amazing. Congratulations. Catherine said, not giving foodie a pass at all, but here addiction is always going to be challenging because we all have to eat. We do, and it's going to be challenging, and that's why she does need to take it more seriously than she does. That's why she does. She has to eat, but she has to get with a professional who will like make a diet plan for her and what she can eat. She's one of those people who needs a checklist. I need to have this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner, and she needs to check it off as she goes. Like, she's that kind of a person. The only way she's going to change is a professional. She can't do it alone. She won't do it alone. She needs a professional. Yeah, Aaron. I wish Foodie would realize that exercise actually helps your dopamine, which is an issue with addiction. Yeah, it does. Jay said, this is so beautiful. Thanks. She might not. Aaron, she might. Some people don't. Some people don't. We talked about that. Not everybody gets sober. Not everybody wants to get sober. Not everybody changes their life. It's a sad, hard reality. I think she's going to have a wake-up call, which will be a pivotal moment, a life-changing moment. And I think it'll either make or break her. She'll either change from there or it's going to get worse. I don't know. But I feel it coming. I think a bunch of us have for a while. She's just so stubborn. Her bottom is going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But we know with some people that a hard rock bottom is the only wake up call. I had to lose it all. I had warnings. I had so many people trying to help me at one point. So many people trying to help me. And I thought I knew better. And I didn't want to give up alcohol. So look at what I had to go through. Seizures, a stroke, falling off a balcony onto my head. I went through a lot, and I was stubborn like her. So I think her bottom is going to be very bad. She won't do it while everyone is telling her to stop, Foodie. Yeah, Sheila. That's the thing too. While everybody's telling her to stop, she's very childlike. The more people tell her not to do something, the more she's going to do it. That's just how she is. Only a professional can help her at this point. That's the truth of this. Like, no matter what anybody says or does, only a professional can save her. She does have issues with authority. Sometimes I wonder if she has that oppositional defiance disorder where it's like people of authority or anybody she feels like, I don't know. I honestly wonder if she has that. I don't know. At my rock bottom, I lost everything, including my kids. Yeah, some of us have to have really bad rock bottoms, no filter. But I'm glad things changed for you. I'm glad you're doing better now. My block finger is just very heavy today. But that's okay. Like, typically, if they wanted to troll, it would be one thing. But I don't really think this is an appropriate time So anyways, if you guys like these streams and want more of them, I would like to do this again. We can do it on Wednesday around the same time, and we can actually have a panel. I won't share next time. Maybe I'll just like do a 5-minute hi, maybe share a story I haven't yet. But we can do definitely a panel and have people come up, and it'll be like an unofficial meeting, a place where we can go and we know we can count on it once a week to just hear somebody else's story and find some hope and strength from it. Oh, really, Lisa? I'm so sorry for your loss. Yeah, I know. Sometimes when we go through things like that, we can look and we're like, what the heck are you thinking? Like, why are you doing that? But addiction is strong. I've seen people smoke on oxygen too, and it's like addiction is strong. Whatever your addiction is, it might seem like silly or like, why would someone do that? But you were just like her at one point, really, Aaron? Yeah, they're sick, and I'll feel bad for them. I'm not going to be too mean. Like, if you have to troll a space where people are sharing such like heavy topics, like it pretty much says a lot about you. That's just pity them and feel sorry for them and hope that they do better, you know? All right, you guys, we'll do this again Wednesday. Let me look really fast and see if we have any. I was going to see, well, if Foodie Beauty did something, we could probably end the stream and react to it, but she hasn't said a peep yet. So I am going to run to Walmart really fast. I need to go do some shopping with my sister, but I want to thank you guys for listening to my story and hearing me out. And I hope you guys learned a little bit about me, and I answered any questions. Do you guys have any questions really fast before I go? Yeah, not surprising. Let me run and get a tissue really fast. And then if you guys have any questions, I can answer them. Hold on. All right. I needed a tissue. Sorry. The hair in my mouth. For some that has the courage to open up. I hope that you feel comfortable too. Next Wednesday when we do this again, I won't allow any trolling at all. I'm going to add more mods. I know you guys are like working really hard to block everybody, but I think there's like more trolls than mods. So I'll add a few more, and then we won't allow anybody to be rude to you on panel. I'll definitely be keeping an eye out. If you want to share, let me know so I can look out for you, or maybe just share the private link with you specifically. And just like I said, if you do come on and you feel comfortable sharing, just protect yourself, protect your privacy, make sure you're not sharing like your kids' names or anything. Like I said, while our community is really forgiving, really accepting, really nice and kind and non-judgmental, the rest of the world isn't like that. So just protect yourself. I'd love to do this every Wednesday. I think it was helpful. Not only to me, hopefully I help somebody out there. Basically, how I try and live my life today is, like I said, I'm always doing things to make it up to my family. Like I try and surprise them or do something kind for them every day. Anything my daughter wants to do, I make sure I say yes to and I'm there for it, even though sometimes my back hurts and I might not want to go on like the 5th bike ride of the day. I still do it. I have a lot of mom guilt still. I've worked through a lot, but I still have some mom guilt. So saying no can be a struggle to me with her, or struggle for me. I try and stay busy. I try and be of service in my own way, helping other people who may want to get sober, or other people that I know are having a bad day. I'm very involved with like helping animals. I do a lot. I'm not one of those people who can just sit all day and waste my day away. It's very bad for me to stay in my head. My head is a very scary place to be alone sometimes. So my way of staying sober and on track is I get therapy. I stay busy. I very involved with my family. I have a very busy family life. I help other people. And I really just try and stay positive too. Like when I get those feelings of hurt, guilt, regret, shame, and I can feel it starting to affect me, like I don't sit with them too long. I acknowledge it. I sit with it for like a second, and then I'm like, okay, like I'm a changed person. I'm doing better now. And I just don't stay stuck. And I think that was like a big game changer for me, is realizing not to stay stuck in the feelings of shame, guilt, pain, hurt, all of that. I get it, Erin. That's why I said, like, I know not everybody feels comfortable sharing, but if you are, like, I would love to welcome you to have the floor and this space. You have a week to think about it. We're going to go live again on Wednesday, and we'll talk about other things. And maybe if you guys don't want to do a panel, we can just talk about things like, I don't know, I could just share normal things that I go through in recovery, and maybe it'll help somebody out there. I don't know. Thank you, Carrie. Yeah. Yeah, I think mom guilt is very real, especially when you're a mom in recovery. I sometimes say yes too often, or like I'll excuse an attitude problem because it's like, look at the shit like I've done. Like I'm not perfect. Like I was a terrible mom at first. So I have a lot of guilt with that. And I'm trying to find a happy medium, like trying to find a happy medium, but it's going to be a struggle, you know. While 6 years sober is a lot, I'm still like a baby in sobriety. I'm still a baby, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm still learning how to be a mom. I wasn't given a manual, and I have to make up for a lot of lost timing, and I have to figure out my way. I'm not ever going to be the yelling mom who's always grounding someone. Like it didn't work for me. Grounding never worked for me. So I'm not that person, but you know, I'm working on it. And it helps being able to talk with you guys about it too. I don't mind sharing my story, but in a safe environment. Erin, yeah, I've struggled with where would be a safe environment to share this kind of stuff on social media. And I don't really know that any place is very safe. You know, I was going to do an OnlyFans account, not to strip or do anything like that, but just to have like an adult place to talk about addiction. But then again, I just don't really want an OnlyFans. No hate to everybody who does OnlyFans. I just don't want to do an OnlyFans. So that was the only place I could think of where it was like adult conversation where we can talk about it and talk about like drinking, drugging stories, and like just to be able to talk and relate. But I don't know that anywhere is safe. I think if you're going to share, you have to be careful of what you share. I don't think that people are going to target you necessarily. I think people just target me, but in general, just always be safe on here and always try and be safe. She is so happy and so loved, and she's amazing. She's thriving in every aspect of her life. You know, she skipped a grade. She gets all good grades at school. She's on honor roll. She's just amazing. She's so intelligent. Like, I don't know where she gets that from, because it's definitely not for me. Like, I did not like school. Like, school was not, she was excited to do her homework and to read books. And I was never that kid, so I don't know where she gets it from, but I was never excited. Like, I liked reading books to get the free pizza, but like, I definitely was not anything like her. She has some health things going on, but she's strong, and she's doing amazing, like doing amazing. I don't know how she's so strong, and so she's just everything. I don't know. She's an amazing little girl. The best thing that's ever happened to me. Like, I truly feel like we were brought together for a reason. Like, I needed her to teach me and change me, and I needed her, and then she, for whatever reason, needs a mom like me. I don't know for what reason, but I truly believe God put us together for a reason. I truly believe that. I think the best place is a closed group away from YouTube. We can do Zoom if there's like a select few people that want to do like a Zoom call. We can do that. Maybe set it up on Zoom. I don't know how we would all get in contact other than if you're here right now and you're open to doing a Zoom call. Maybe we can do that. Baby Breezy is amazing. She really is. She's incredible. I'm very blessed, and I never want to spend any time away from her again. So I'm very blessed to have an opportunity to be a good mom to her. She deserves the best mom in the world. She really does. Kids are amazingly resilient. She knows she's loved, and having a truthful, loving mother who is authentic is an amazing thing. Thank you so much, Carrie. Thank you. Well, I hope you guys learned a little bit about me. I hope, I don't know if there's any questions, I maybe answered them. I hope somebody heard me out there that needed to hear me. I hope that if you're thinking about relapsing right now, you realize that life is so much better without that drink or that drug or that McDonald's meal or that purse. Like, you don't need it. You can cope. You don't need that stuff. And you are enough. You don't need drugs or alcohol or any of that. You are enough just as you are. And you're tough enough to get through anything, and you've gotten through everything so far. This time is not any different. So please think twice about anything you may be doing to mess up your progress. I think I'm happy that I'm at a place where I can share this stuff with you guys. It's a little bit scary because I know the trolls are out in full force, and I could see the videos being made already, but I really feel like I did this for the greater good. There's a reason bigger behind, there's a bigger reason for everything. I really feel like somebody needed to hear this. Maybe I needed to share too. But this was really good. And I hope you guys want to do this again. If you want to, let me know. If you want to be part of a Zoom call group where we can have our own little meeting, I'm open to that too. So I'm on Twitter and Instagram. Maybe we can all meet up on a platform and do a group chat for anybody who's interested in being a part of the Zoom call, and we'll plan a day. Maybe for the Zoom call, we can get together once a month and chat, and it could be a really long call. We'll share what's going on. And I think that's actually a safer idea, Zoom. All right, you guys, thank you so much you can do Zoom. Awesome. Thank you so much for listening to me and letting me share my story. And thank you for being respectful. And to anybody who is rude in here, I hope you stub your toe today. All right, you guys. I think Zoom's a better option. I guess Wednesdays, if we're able to and nothing else is going on, maybe we can come on and I can share. But I think if we want it to be more of an interactive group, I think we definitely need to go with Zoom. I think it's safer. And I'll definitely only let people come on who have been in our chat or something, so we're familiar with them. There's not going to be, yo mama coming in or whatever. It's going to be a group that we know is safe and that I've seen here. So, all right, you guys, have a great day, great evening, wherever you are. Thank you for letting me tell my story. I have to run right now, but I will be available later for any Foodie Beauty updates if you guys want to do a premiere and hang out. I think Friday I'm going to the beach, and if you guys want me to film, I'm not going to Long Beach or anything. I'm going to Orange County. So if you guys want me to film a beach day or the area over there, because Orange County is so pretty. The beach we're going to, you see dolphins all the time. So if you want a beach vlog, let me know and I can put one up too. All right. Thank you again, you guys. Hit me up if you want to be part of the Zoom group. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. And also my email is justbreezentoday@mail.com. So let me know. And for the Zoom group, we'll get together once a month. Okay. So it'll be one long call once a month. And we'll make it a day where we'll work it out. Just hit me up if you want to be part of the Zoom call. Thank you, everybody. And I'll see you later. Okay. Bye.